Hey guys, it's Colin from Hollywood Studios here. Today is Saturday, August 30th, and we are back here at Great Adventure as this is the last weekend of DC Heroes and Villains Fest. I don't know if I'm actually going to stay long enough to see Heroes and Villains, unfortunately, but we are here. We are here to check out what's coming up for the next event, which is Frightfest, of course. They already got that big sign out over in front of the planter there. They removed Extreme. This is no longer Frightfest Extreme, and they also have the usual big sign out by the toll booth as well. So we're going to see what's going on inside the park in terms of Frightfest prep and all of that fun stuff, as well as whatever else might have changed in the parks. And, of course, Project 2027 over there. So let's go take a look at all of that. Inside past security, of course, we got that big sign for Frightfest right there, starting September 12th. And it looks like they might have just opened the gates because it's looking a little crowded. And along the entrance here, they have all kinds of signs for Frightfest as well, which have now replaced the Heroes and Villains signs. Of course, it is Labor Day weekend, so it looks like they have Bugs and Daffy out in Labor Day attire, the red, white, and blue and everything. Very, very nice. And this, of course, does kind of mark the end of summer. This was the last bit of daily operations after Monday, September 1st, Labor Day. That is it for daily operations. Go back to weekends only for Fright Fest. Well, we'll have a week in between, sort of, and then Fright Fest begins on the 12th, which has plenty of merch previewing. They even have Looney Tunes merch for Fright Fest. That is awesome. We'll take a look at some of that. I'm gonna head to the right first and just kind of do a lap to see what's changed. And there's a couple new signs and things of that nature. And then we'll head over towards Project 2027. So on my last visit, Flash was in the midst of a bit of an extended closure. It was closed for a few days, but from what I understand, it has reopened since then. I haven't seen it run yet, but that is great to see. The Flash is back in action. Actually, it looks like Flash just opened. So since there's pretty much no line, I'm gonna go for a quick ride on it. Just did a quick ride on Flash towards the back, and I actually haven't been on it in quite a few visits, so it was nice to get back on. Audio's working perfectly. I did notice that they seem to not open the air gates to let you into the station until everybody is out of the station exiting, and then it takes a little bit longer after that, so I'm not sure if that's like a new thing they're doing or what, but either way, I got on fairly quick. I mean, you guys saw what the line looked like when I was getting on, and it still took about 15-20 minutes to get on. I think I was on like the 4th or 5th train of the day too, so that's just kind of the nature of Flash. That's how it is. Of course, we're walking through DC Heroes and Villains Fest now, which doesn't begin till later in the day. I definitely will probably wind up not being here for it, but that's all right. Now we're gonna walk past one of the Fright Fest maze locations. However, we don't actually know if there's going to be a maze there this year, because this is where Stranger Things was, and there's not been an announcement as to mazes that are replacing the ones that aren't coming back, like that of Saw and Stranger Things. So we're going to have to keep an eye on these and see what happens there. Wonder Woman, unfortunately, is still closed. It's been closed for quite a while. Hopefully you'll see it back up for Fright Fest or sometime around then. Also, something I've noticed at all the refill stations is that they now have those Cedar Fair style cups for the paper cup plan. Now over here going past Funnel Cake Factory and Fatburger, look at that. Got a brand new sign. This is a very retro Great Adventure sign. If you guys don't remember, last year this is where one of the 50th topiaries were, and now they've replaced it with this awesome looking giant sign, the rainbow logo from the 1980s. It looks great, and honestly it's probably still my favorite version of the Great Adventure logo. I always thought this one looked really, really good. And I'm glad to see we have it actually in the park. Back here in the Pine Barrens, we have some pretty major Fright Fest prep underway for what became, I believe it was called Demon District or something along those lines. But they completely do up the Jersey Devil area with Demon District. Yeah, that is what it's called. You see the big statue right there. This was a really, really cool scare zone last year. I still think it'd be really cool if we got a maze back here, because other than this and the ride, obviously, there's not really much of a draw for people to come back over here, but what they do in this area is awesome. They always play like Metallica and other metal music as well to really go along with the theme. It always just looks really good. With the devil statue for Jersey Devil itself, you would almost think that these are all always here because they kind of match very, very well. And speaking of Jersey Devil, on my last visit I did report on this, so I'm going to do it again in case you guys didn't see that. There has in fact been a bit of a programming change to the devil. I think you can actually see it right now, yes. So there was one train stop right before the station there on the brakes, right? There's another train stopped right here. And the reason that that second half of the station is not being filled by a train is because it's actually been reprogrammed seemingly so that they can only have one train in the station at a time. Actually, it looks like it just went down. But I'm not sure why. I will say it definitely makes the line move quite a bit slower having it set up like this, because the extra time it takes for that train to have to wait for this train to completely leave the station, it does add up. And when we had ERT last week on this, it was definitely not a quick wait. So just keep that in mind, that Jersey Devils line probably gonna move a little bit slower. But hey, at least we got all these awesome statues throughout here that really do just add to the theme back here of the Pine Barrens. Now I'm walking over here into the lakefront area, which always gets a really nice do up for Frightfest. We got all kinds of props. It seems like most of the props have been put out, which has me very excited to go over to Plaza de Carnaval, which is an area that is going to become Day of the Dead for Frightfest. First time ever, at least in my memory, that has been a scare zone, which is really, really cool. You got all kinds of props around here. They always have a lot of scare actors as well. So very, very excited to see how this all comes together in just a couple weeks. And that right there is something I wish they would keep year round. Those tentacles inside the waterbed of Buccaneer. The water isn't actually in there right now, but it always looks so cool. And they only do it for Frightfest. So please just keep those in there all the time. It looks so, so cool. And since this is kind of like a piratey themed area anyways, it kind of fits. Friendly reminder that the MVP sale is still going, but if you have a Legacy membership, you may not need to take advantage of this, because Legacy members, as far as we know, are getting to keep all of their benefits and get to use them all at the Cedar Fair parks, which of course includes Dorney Park. So unless I hear otherwise, that's the way I'm going, and I'm not going to be getting a gold or prestige pass. I'm just going to keep the Diamond Elite. Looks like even the stilt walkers are decked out in Labor Day attire too. Truly, it never ceases to amaze me how at park opening, this side of the park just tends to be so empty. I mean, everyone seems to flood the other side going towards Flash and Nitro and all that, but coming down Dream Street here with that new sign, not really too many people in the morning. So you can always go over to Toro and get a few rides in real quick in the morning, because there's never really anyone over there. And it looks like Clown Town / Carnival, I forget what they call it now, is going to be returning, or at least somewhat returning. Oh no, I think this is just for the exit of Big Top Terror, which of course takes place right there. And I imagine they're going to set up the queue fairly soon for that, which kind of takes up the concrete side of Dream Street there. And I'm really curious what they wind up doing on the boardwalk side of things, because again, it's not a very populated area anymore with all the rides that were removed. So we're gonna head down there after we make our loop back here and see what's going on. Sounds like Toro is going strong. Does not look like very many people are on it though. No, there are not very many people on it at all actually. There's maybe 5 people on that train. Down here in Plaza de Carnaval, I'm not actually seeing anything for Frightfest stuff. There is that new sign right there I'm noticing at Macho Nacho, which is very nice. Something else to keep an eye on though over here is gonna be this whole area. I'm assuming that this is gonna reopen for Frightfest because Texas Chainsaw Massacre is right over there. So I'm assuming that maybe the Wild Walkway will reopen. That way there's a full loop to kind of go over there and then come back this way. We have a lot of caution tape up. I'm not too sure what's going on, quite frankly. But hopefully we will be getting some hints of it very soon. Like I said, keep an eye on the Golden Kingdom, at least that front part of it, because that could wind up reopening. And as you can see, not too many people on Toro. The park's been open for about a half hour, and that's what we're looking at there. I'm now ventured into Frontier Adventures, where I think I might actually be the only one over here. That's not me saying the park is dead. Obviously, it's very early in the day, and typically crowds do not come over here until quite a bit later in the day. There's like 2 people on Medusa I saw one group on Mine Train, and a group in front of me now walking. That's about it. The Safari, like I've been saying in the past couple of videos now, they seem to have stopped their kind of test, so to speak. They are no longer doing tours inside the park from what it looks like. They did a bit of a test of that earlier on, and they are no longer doing them. Unfortunately, as a result of that, as well as the closure of Log Flume, it looks like Best of the West is closed. I'm not sure when or if it will reopen. Hopefully for Frightfest we'll see it reopen, because obviously, as you can see, the scare zone is well underway in terms of preparations they're making for it. You got a little bit of a minecart right here, and we'll see a lot more stuff as we keep walking up. Got that gory prop right there, another minecart up here, and I imagine we'll see a little bit more added as we get closer and closer to Frightfest. And it looks like they have now gone over the sign that used to say, great adventures await you. I believe it said, I don't know why, I can't remember exactly what it said, but now got that Dream Street sign, which is a little sad because that was one of the last remnants of the Golden Kingdom over here in terms of signage. But I can't lie, that sign looks phenomenal. I love the way it looks, and of course you get that excellent view as you walk down Dream Street here. Now I'm gonna take a stroll down Superman Island, see what we can see for Project 2027 and anything else that may be going on. If I had to guess, we're probably not gonna see too much from over here. We'll get a better view from out in the lot, but let's see what we can find. Looks like some of the signs have been starting to be put back up for Army of the Dead over here behind Slingshot, which is really, really good. That's one of the cooler mazes because it's just such a giant set, so I'm very glad that one is returning. Looking into the site of the new coaster, it looks like some of the rebar have those little like orange caps on them. If any of you know what those are for, please let me know down in the comments, because I'm not too sure. Maybe it's to protect them from the elements, but I kind of doubt that, honestly. We're gonna see what else we can see before we head outside of the park to see some more angles of this thing. There's another view. That's what looks like the switch track, or the transfer track rather, where the maintenance track will likely be for the train or trains. If you guys want to see my full prediction for what this ride is going to likely be, I have it linked down below. I made a full pre-creation for it in Planet Coaster 2, basing it off of these footers and kind of following that route all the way down. Unfortunately, that's about all we're going to see, because if you see that one machine right there and that fence line, it kind of follows that fence line, and obviously that fence line is completely blocked by that dirt mound, so we're not going to see anything else until we're outside. As I'm walking back towards the fountain, it looks like they have the red, white, and blue color package on the giant wheel as well, which is really nice to see. Over here at Six Flags Universe, we got a new shirt design. Definitely not Great Adventure specific. You can see X2 up there. It is pretty cool. Besides that, there's not really anything new, but there is a last chance 40% off deal running on all of these items. Got Toro Nitro picture frames, Jersey Devil cups, and some Jersey Devil mugs as well. They also have an absolutely insane amount of Scream Machine Nano coasters. I think that might be the only Nano coaster they have. Yeah, it's at least in Six Flags Universe, it is just tons and tons of Scream Machine Nano coasters. So if you really like Scream Machine, there's plenty of these for you. Here's a look over at Main Street Market, some of the merch we got for Frightfest. There's that Looney Tunes design we saw earlier, and I don't think anything else in here yet. Let's go take a quick look inside of Head of the Line to see what kind of Frightfest stuff we got in here. So it looks like we got this jacket right here, and look at all these shirts. Very colorful, very nice designs as well. Yeah, these are awesome. Got this white one as well that wasn't out there. I'm really liking these. All right, I'm heading out of the park now. I'm gonna go over into the lot and try to get some looks at Project 2027 for you guys. All right, we've made it down to the parking lot, and wow, a lot has changed. So it looks like there is not going to be another curve in the route that this attraction is going to be taking. It looks like you can see all the footers here, right? They continue straight down. There's tons of rebar already in place all the way down to here, which is definitely new. And look at this giant crater in the parking lot here, going down towards this kind of mound of gravel, it looks like. Now, I don't know how far this is actually going to go down. Like I said, I do have my pre-creation from Planet Coaster linked down below of what this ride may wind up being. This could be where the tower is right here. That's definitely a possibility. I think it could go maybe a little bit further as we go closer to Ka's old tower, which was right over there, kind of where that white car is. But this is what we're looking at right now. Very exciting progress. And kind of looking in there, you can see this giant form. So this definitely looks like it's going to be a bit of a monster footer in here. We can expect a lot of this asphalt to wind up getting kind of chopped up a little bit. I highly doubt they're going to make this thing a full-blown parking lot coaster. I'd be very surprised. But this is really, really exciting progress, and just continues to show more and more of what this attraction will likely look like. An attraction we're not going to know exactly what it is for quite some time, but this is very exciting. And if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.